Well, hello. Welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on September 12th, 2021. I was brought up in, as some of you already know, if you haven't, then go over to the johnnytiger.com and check out the short documentary there. And as going to be shown in the upcoming long form Johnny Tiger documentary, uh, I was brought up in a rather unconventional family. How unconventional? Well, it's really, really too long for me to even go into in today's episode. But if you have been following my channel, if you've been following my documentary, then you know what I'm talking about. My, my father was unconventional, my mother was unconventional, my stepmother was unconventional. Everyone in my family was just totally uh, not normal. Totally, uh, I can't even say extraordinary, but I guess one way to put it is wacky, uh, weird, crazy. That's the kind of family I grew up in. And who is the most unconventional person in the family? Without a doubt, my father. He he put the word unconventional uh, to shame. You can even say unconventional is suited to be his middle name. Even now, when he's about 80 years old, he's plagued with all kind of disease and Alzheimer's or dementias and depression and Parkinson and so on and so on. You name it, he got it. But he is still unconventional. It's just there's no way to keep this old guy down. So you can imagine when he was in his younger days, he was a lot worse. So growing up, I hear a lot of unconventional stories. Some told to me by other people about my father, but a lot of these were told to me by him himself about the various ventures and tricks and pranks and scams and uh, big and little uh, ways where he uh, uh, got ahead of someone else or he got one up on someone else. Uh, my family was full of stories like that. One of the stories that is very fresh in my mind, even though I heard it from him so long ago, was the one time when he traveled to San Francisco. Now, back then, this was prior to him getting banned by the US. He can no longer travel to the US. He is right now banned by Hong Kong, banned by Japan, banned by Canada, and banned by the US. So, yeah, he often joke about he might be the one person in the world who's gotten banned by the most countries or most places. So anyway, let's go back to before he got banned by the US. So this would have been in the early 90s or prior to the 90s. He traveled to San Francisco, and back then, my family was very well off. Back then, my family was very well to do. I'm not saying that to just to brag. I'm saying that so the rest of the story kind of makes sense. So, my father was my father has always had a little bit of a sensitive stomach. Actually, that I am a little bit like that too. When I get really stressed out or when I get agitated and uh, when I have a lot of things uh, keeping me busy and when I am overworked, overstressed, you'll notice that I spend a lot of time in the washroom. And yeah, I end up getting a little bit of a sensitive stomach. So my father has always been similar, uh, especially in his younger days. As soon as he got stressed out, then he needed to look for a toilet, and he would be in there for quite a long time. So he was in San Francisco, and because of some business dealing that was not going as well as he wanted it to, he was stressed out. He was really stressed out. And so it was that he was looking around himself, trying to find a washroom, and it was getting a little bit urgent. Things were getting desperate. So he ran into a store and asked the cashier if he could use the washroom. And I'm pretty sure you have run into this. I have run into this. And it's always very aggravating when you run into a situation like this. The cashier tell you, no, you have to spend money here to use the washroom. And you can't just come in here to use the washroom. And well, like I said, things were very urgent. My dad was definitely not in the right frame of mind, not in the right condition to go shopping and buy something or order something just so he could use the washroom. So, without a second thought, he pulled out uh, a $100 bill, tossed it on the counter, and then the cashier showed him to the washroom. Now, back then, carrying $100 bills around for my dad was just the course of just like very normal, that very casual thing. Uh, Actually, he has been uh, detained by security several times when he went shopping because they thought he was carrying fake money. Because not too many people would walk around with $100 bills in their pocket back in the prior to the 90s. Um, so anyway, he tossed the cash on the counter and the cashier showed him where the washroom was. After he did his business and relieved himself, my dad suddenly realized there's no toilet paper. Now this is another of those things that I'm pretty sure it happened to you, happened to me, and it's very embarrassing every time it happened. Uh, so anyway, my father was not prepared for it. He didn't have uh, uh, Kleenex or spare toilet paper on his person. He's not as much of a Boy Scout like I am. I usually make sure that I have at least some napkins or hand wipes on my person just for this kind of eventuality. But he didn't. Okay, all he had was his wallet with $100 bills in it. Without a second thought, my dad took out two or three $100 bills, cleaned himself with them, folded them up, added another clean $100 bill on the outside, and when he walked out of the bathroom and was about to leave the store, he tossed the $400 folded out $400 on the counter, told the cashier that's his tip. We can only surmise how disgusted and grossed out the cashier was after uh, taking the money and unfolding them and finding what my father has done with the bill. Um, but to my dad, this was kind of a poetic justice because the guy was being such a pain in the you know where, no pun intended, when he was in urgent need of a bathroom. Um, Now, why am I talking about this story today? Because a while ago, I heard a little proverb or a little kind of an inspirational quote that stuck with me and that resonated with this story. The quote goes, "Money is not evil. There's really nothing wrong with money. What is wrong is how you interacted with it. What is wrong is what kind of relationship you have with money. You need to be the master of money. It cannot be the master of you. You have to be the master of money, not and it cannot be the master of you." What is that? What does that mean? Well, what it basically means is, let's say if you are in urgent need of needing toilet paper, and there's no other way around, you have no problem taking those $100 bills out of your pocket, wipe your bum with them, because they are your money. They are your money. You can do whatever you damn well want to do with them. You're not going to lose sleep over it. You're not going to sit there on the toilet and agonizing about it. On the other hand, if you have several $100 bills and you are stuck there in the washroom, you have no way of getting out of there because you just can't make yourself use them to wipe your bum, then maybe you are, mm, maybe the money is your master. Maybe you are the money's servant because the money is dictating your action. The money is making you unable to get out of that washroom despite of you clearly having a way to clean yourself. Now, of course, this is a bit of an extreme example. I think most of us would be a little bit hesitant in throwing away, uh, defacing, soiling a couple $100 bills. I think a lot of us don't even carry $100 bills on us. But even still, what if it's $5 bill? I have $5 bills on me very often. Would I be able to, in that kind of emergency, say, okay, the heck with that, I'm going to use this to wipe my bum? I don't know. Uh, I think the whole idea of being the master of your money rather than being the slave of your money only really work um, in cases where you do have plenty of money. I think when you have a certain amount of money, when your wealth get above a certain quota, then this will apply. But to most of us, money is very important. Money is almost life and death. However, I do find that this quote, this uh, little adage towards money, towards your relationship with money, also applies to myself, where food is concerned. Now, those of you who watched or listened to the last Soul Search Sunday know that I talked about my little issue with food. I always feel extreme need to finish food, and I feel a certain way about people wasting food. So, in a sense, I can say that I need to work on being the master of food rather than being the slave of food. These foods are here to keep me fed, keep me energized, and I should be able to do whatever I damn well want to do with them because, hey, I paid for my own food. It's not like I robbed somebody. So when we take this and apply to whatever ails us, whatever little pet peeve we have in our lifetime, maybe sometimes it will help us to see things in another way. When something really bugs you, when something really bothers you, ask yourself, is this really bad or am I being the slave of whatever this is? Shouldn't I be the master? Me being a human being, me being intelligent. Why should this situation, this thing, this person have the right to bother me this much? I think when we remind ourselves that we should take our destiny, our emotion into our own hand. We should be as responsible as we can about being in control of our emotions and not let the objects, materials, situations dictate how we feel. Then we can all be masters of whatever it is that bugs us in our life. Hopefully, this is useful to somebody. We'll be back again tomorrow for Music Monday. For now, have a good night.